Roy, your biology teacher. Okay, today is the first class. All right, I will teach you the botany portion mainly, and today we are going to start that is the plant morphology. All right, uh, plant morphology. You can see on your screen. Hello.
Yes, sir.
You can see. Now we are going to start plant morphology. This is this that actually the chapter name is the morphology of flowering plant. Is it morphology of flowering plants? All right. This is oh, কেটে গেল। Okay. Yeah, there was some little problem. This is, I think, unavoidable sometime online classes, internet, etc. Okay. So, but this morphology actually, this is the external structure. All right. External structure of the plant. This include the structure of root, stem, leaves, flower, fruit, everything. And this topic is very, very important in biology because our first reaction towards any of the organism and their identification, right? Identification is from their morphology. There are a lot of diversity in the living organism and diversity that give us the advantage of identifying and distinguishing one organism from the other. And for that, initially the external structure we have to see and identify. We all of us we identify each other, recognize each other by seeing the morphology, right? So this is a very, very important topic, though of course it is easy, but very, very important. Here in the plant, okay, the first in the plant that what we can see from outside in a plant, we can see the stem, branches, their leaves, flower, fruit. That is the above ground part of the plant. And this portion, that above ground part of the plant, this portion makes the mm, shoot system, right? So there is a shoot system, and underground there is a root which help in anchorage, and the root and its branches, root and branches of root. They formed the root system. So there is shoot system and root system. So we will separately read, learn all about all these parts. First thing that we will learn is the root. This is, as we know, that this root is usually the underground part. Underground part of the plant, and this is non-green. Non-green, usually sometime brown, light or dark brown color structure, and main function is absorption and fixation. Okay. Now let us see the root from the beginning. Actually, life of plant, no? Plant begins with seed germination. Is it? It is seed germination. So when the seed is germinated, then the radical portion that germinate that grow fast. Say this is a seed. Initially, that the radical come out, and this radical grow, and this one forms the primary root. So direct prolongation of the primary root, direct prolongation of the radical that form the primary root. This primary root may be permanent or it may be short-lived one. All right. If it is permanent, means lasting for long there, then this primary root start giving out branches and it mature. Branches at of different level. The one which is this is the main one is the primary, and then from here it is coming out. This one is secondary root. Then from the secondary, the tertiary level roots comes out. Like this way, they repeatedly branch, and this permanent primary root along with its branches, it forms the taproot system. Okay, it forms a taproot system, and So main one, this primary root, this is the taproot, and along with its branches, primary taproot system. This taproot system is the characteristic feature of the dicot plant. Okay. Dicot plants are those which have two cotyledons in their embryo. So in the dicot, these things happen. But in case of monocot, the another thing happen that this primary root is short-lived, and in its place there is a bunch of very thin roots comes out. Like what you have seen in case of onion. Sometime you have seen that the onion start germinating, or they give rise many roots from the bottom. So thread-like root, this root is known as fibrous root. And in the fibrous root, you cannot make out that which one is the main and which one is branches. All are coming out from a same place, and there is no main root. But in case of if you see in the taproot, there you can decide that this is there is a very thick one which is the main root, and then it gives out the branches. This fibrous root system is characteristic feature of monocot plant. Monocot plants are like maize, wheat, this bamboo, and grasses, banana, many other monocot plants are there. So these monocot plants, they give rise the fibrous root system. Another type of root system you can see in some of the plants, which is of course not limited to dicot or monocot. This thing is found in any group of the plant, whether it is dicot or monocot. That is, the roots coming out from grows from any part of the plant. Any part of the plant. It can be from the stem, from the branches, from leaves, any other part other than radicle. Okay, other than radicle. These roots which come out from any part of the plant is known as adventitious root. Known as adventitious root. So these roots are taproot, fibrous root, and adventitious root. It can be found in in any of the plant, either monocot. In case of orchid, we can see that adventitious root. We can get adventitious root in that banyan tree. which come out from from their branches, we can find that the adventitious root in the bryophyllum, where the roots come out from the leaves. Okay, so these are adventitious root. Now let us come to the main function of the root. Main function of the root, first thing is that it fixes the plant to the soil or the substratum. Fixation is the main function. And number two, that is very important, this one is absorption. Absorption of water and mineral. And this, not only the absorption of water and mineral, their conduction also. So, and conduction of those absorbed water and minerals. So they do fixation, absorption. Number three, they store food materials. That is, storage is another function. Storage of food material. You know that, I think that almost every day you are using in your kitchen for carrot, radish, this beetroot, is it? These are the roots which are very thick and fleshy due to the storage of the food material. Then there are many other functions also. One of the important function in the root system, there is production of plant growth regulator or synthesis of plant growth regulator. Okay. Beside this, of course, plant.
Is it proof synthesis? So is
Yes,
it proof
no,
synthesis?
no. This I have not the. I was writing that production, so I stopped and instead I have written this synthesis. Okay, synthesis of plant growth regulators. Plant growth regulator, or you can say the plant hormone. Okay. Plant hormones, or we also can call phytohormone. Phytohormones. This is synthesized in the root also. Some of the hormones are synthesized at the root tips, okay, and others are also synthesized in the leaves and in the root system. So this is another. Besides this, of course, in different plants, we can see that the plant carry out some special function. And for that special function, the plant change the shape of the root. And this is what we call the modification. Okay, we call modification. So modified root. See this beetroot, carrot, these are actually the modified roots. So those things we will see later on. Uh, then come to the structure of the growing root, the different region of the growing root. Here is a diagrammatic representation of the root. Only the growing portion of the root is being shown. See here, in all the growing roots, they have different part. This, what are those different part? This is the diagram. Okay, you can get this one in your book also. This from at the tip of the root. This is there is a cap-like structure. Okay, there is a cap-like structure. This cap, which is known as the root cap. So at the extreme tip, there is a root cap. And this root cap, like the cap, protect our head from the sun or from any other that environmental odds. Okay, sometime of course it is for fancy fashion also, but it has the protective role. So in the root, growing the tips of the root, they have a protective cover, and this protective cover is the root cap. And then the next reason is the reason of meristematic activity. Meristem, meristem is the tissue in which the component cell divide repeatedly. Okay, so as they divide repeatedly, they produce a new cell, and the growth of the growth and development of the all living multicellular organism is by the activity of these cells which divide and produce new cell. So this meristematic cells activity produce new cells, add new cells to the plant organ, so the plant grow. So here you can see the dots, in this inside the root cap. Actually, this meristematic zone is covered by the root cap. This is very important and delicate, because if this cell or the tissue meristem is lost, then the growth of the root will stop. So this is protected. So usually it is protected within this root cap. So here the cell divide and add new cells. Beyond this, above this portion, in this region, there is a region of elongation or zone of elongation. Actually, when the new cell from the cell division, the new cells are produced, these cells are very small. As such, that newborns are very small in compared to an adult. So the newly formed cells, by the activity or the division of the meristematic cells, these cells are very small. So in this region, these newly formed cells, they grow very fast. They start enlarge in size. They elongate also, mainly elongation. They elongate, enlarge and elongate. So this is the zone of elongation, and in this zone, the growth of the root, of course, in length is very fast, grow very fast. After that, there is a region of maturation. Region of maturation, once the cell have enlarged, then they start a process we call differentiation. Or in a very simple way, we can say maturation. So this enlarged young cell start the maturation, they change their shape, size, change in shape, actually change in shape, and specialization also takes place. Some special structure they produce. So a specialization takes place. This process is known as cell differentiation. And by the cell differentiation, a cell is ready for performing their work for what they are being made. So from here only, the cell start to differentiate as a parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, or xylem or phloem. Okay, so they change in their shape, and in this place, from the outside, we can see that the epidermis of the root of root, we can see some thread-like, cotton-like structure. Okay, like cotton-like structure. Actually, lot of thread, very fine threads comes out from the root surface, and these are actually the root hairs. Okay, here you can see that towards the tip of the root, these root hairs are small because here they have started differentiating, and towards the back, towards the mature part, the root hairs are very long. So this is also sometime also known as root hair zone. This zone of maturation is also known as root hair zone. These root hairs are suitable for absorption of water. Actually, this plant absorb water, mineral, etc. Everything these are absorbed through this region, that is the root hair zone. It is the mature portion of the root is not suitable for the absorption. This root hairs, they are actually very temporary structure, short-lived. As the root keeps on growing, new root hairs develop, and the older root hairs gradually they degenerate. And beyond the root hair zone, it is the mature portion of the root. That is the mature root. Okay. Now let us come to this. As I told that root has some common function in all the plant, but some of the plant they carry out some special function, and when these special functions are carried out, the plant change the shape of the size of the root, because all the structure or morphology of any organism that is suitable for the function it carries out. Okay, so when the root is changing its function or the special function it has to carry out, it change its shape. So there are different types of modifications are there. These modifications are actually modifications are for various purpose. Some of the modification, as we have seen, this is for the storage purpose. Some modification is for the special function like say vegetative reproduction, for respiration, for climbing, for mechanical support. Okay, different function is there. So here I will show you that there is some modification where the plant require a special mechanical or additional mechanical support. Additional mechanical support. For the additional mechanical support, there are root, which is one is called prop root. Prop root, this is sometime it is also known as pillar root, and this one is in case of banyan tree. Banyan tree, then Indian rubber plant. These trees are actually, they live for many years and they are very huge also. So what happened that this plant require for their heavy branches, they require additional mechanical support, and for this, from their aerial branches, the roots comes out, and ultimately they move inside the soil, become very strong, a pillar like structure, and give support to the plant. Here is one of the photograph. You can see this is from your book only. This is a photograph of the banyan tree, and from here you can see that the many branches, they are hanging and has gone inside the soil. So these are the pillar like, so they give mechanical support to these branches. Okay, there are very old banyan trees that are having several thousand years also, and they are very huge. Their main trunk is not known, but many of this type of prop roots, pillars are there, which is giving support. Not only support, that they are carrying out the normal function of the root also, that is absorption and fixation. The another type of root that which give the mechanical support is it is known as the stilt root. Stilt root are adventitious root. They are actually adventitious root that developed from the lower nodes of the stem and grow diagonally inside soil, so provide additional mechanical support or strength. This is very common in the monocot. Say in the it is found in case of sugarcane, maize, bamboo, and also in the mangrove plant. Mangrove plants. Mangrove plants are those which grow in the coastal region where usually the tides are there and the soil is very loose, and there the plant require additional support. I will show you some of the photographs of the stilt root. here you see this plant. Can you see here this plant which is growing near the seashore, and here you can see that this stem has branched out like the foot, and it has gone inside the soil. So this is coming out from the stem, from this, and like the foot they are giving the additional support. Another one also you can find here, say you can see here, say this is also mangrove plants in the coastal region. So this is water, okay, sea water, and here the trees, no, these are of course not very big trees, but still they are, these trees from the lower side they are giving out branches, and the branches are going into the soil. These are actually not the branch, these are root branches, not the stem branches, okay, and they are going inside the soil, so giving additional mechanical support. Otherwise they with this like the normal trees, if they will have the single that main slender trunk and giving out the root, then it will not, it cannot stand erect. So this is known as stilt root. Next one, that one type of root is called pneumatophore. This is for respiration. Respiration means here that is gaseous exchange. These pneumatophores also found in the mangrove plant. That's a very common one, is the Rhizophura. This is also growing in the tidal zone in the West Bengal Sundarban. Okay, there this plant is found and in many other places, that in India here in the Sundarban it is found. So this pneumatophore, these are actually when the plants are growing in the soil, where the soil is always covered with water and the soil is very moist. So there is no air in the soil, but the root for their activity, no, they require oxygen, and in this tidal zone in the soil there is no air or oxygen. So in that case what happens, particularly in Rhizophora, the underground branches, they give rise branches which come above the ground and above soil water level. Okay, branches comes out from the underground root branches. This is apogeotropic. apogeotropic means they grow against the gravity of the earth, and this structure, they have a small pores on these aerial branches. These pores are the site through which the gas is exchanged, that is, the plant take oxygen. These are known as pneumatophore or breathing root or respiratory root. Okay, this is you can see the photographs of this. Okay, here is this vertical branches you can see here in the soil that has come out. These are, and there is swollen portion also you can see. These are the pneumatophore. Okay, so they come out. So these are for the respiration or the gaseous exchange. Now come
So
to this.
does this root only takes in air?
Yes.
Does this root only takes in air, or does it release something too?
No, but both side naturally it is exchange of gases. Okay, exchange. So whatever the gas is going inside, they will, in that there is oxygen, so they will utilize the oxygen, and for the other process that like the respiration they will carry out, and then the respiration will produce carbon dioxide, so carbon dioxide will come out. This is just exchange, like what our nose does, the exchange of gas. Okay. Actually, the root cells are living. There is some of the process of what we call the active active process. Okay, like a plant absorb mineral, plant absorb water. Some of the process is active absorption, and for the active absorption, they require energy. Energy is in the form of ATP, and ATP is produced by respiration, and respiration require oxygen. Okay, so that's why they require the gases. Say the always the plant require oxygen, and from the soil also the root they absorb oxygen. This is why when you will water your plant, okay, if it is over watering and the soil is always wet, then you will find that after few days the plant is going to die. Okay, or the plant is not growing properly. If you over watering, if you do, this is because when you are doing pouring water, then the gases they come out from the soil. So there is shortage of air for the root cells, and that's why time to time we have to loosen the soil around around the plant. Okay, near the root we have to gently, very carefully, we have to lose the soil. After watering, say today we have water, and the tomorrow or day after, when it is soil is a little bit dry, then we have to lose the soil so that air again will go inside and that will the root will take the air. Then the root for storage. Storage of food material. Here you can see that these three roots are there. This is a turnip. Okay, this is also a root that has stored the food material. This is carrot, and this is sweet potato. Sweet potato, I think you know it is root. All right. So, and here in the sweet potato, this they store food material, and the shape, any irregular shape it forms. So this sweet potato, that the root modification, that sometimes we call tuberous root. Tuberous root. And in this, by the accumulation of the food, the root get a definite shape. No, in the carrot it is conical, so it is called the conical root. This one is like a top, that playing top. No, so it is a nappy form, we call. So but there are different shape of the roots are there. This in case of uh, this asparagus. Okay, in asparagus, this several tuberous roots are there. Sweet potato like roots, several roots, and this is like a bunch. Okay, so fascicle or bunch, so it is sometimes known as fasciculated root. Right, fasciculated root, that one is nothing but a bunch of tuberous root. So this is fascicle, means bunch. This is found in asparagus and dahlia, that sunflower like that our garden flower. In the dahlia, but dahlia usually is planted by their root only, root tubers. Then the root modification is also we find in case of some of the plants, you have betel leaf. You have seen that they climb the trees. No, they have a climbing root. Climbing root, they give rise a small roots which had sticky substance, and with that it get stick to the substratum on which it is growing. But the root is one root that is very important, we call nodulated root. Nodulated root, here it is of course not mentioned in your book, but this is in other places, you will find the reference of this one. This is found in all the pulses, or we call leguminous plant. leguminous plant. These are the pulses. This in case of gram, pea, beans, all sort of beans. In their root, there is there are a small, very small potato-like, irregularly shaped potato-like structure is found. They have taproot system, but in the branches of the root, a small growth are found. These are the root nodules. Root nodules. In these root nodules, some symbiotic bacteria, rhizobium, rhizobium, they live in this root nodule. Actually, these root nodules are formed due to the infection by this rhizobium. Okay, and this rhizobium can fix nitrogen. It can fix nitrogen from the air. And you know that nitrogen is one of the very important nutrient element of all living organism, because nitrogen is the component of protein, amino acid, they are component of in the nucleic acid, that is the DNA, RNA, and those and many other important biomolecules, they contain nitrogen. Nitrogen is plenty in the air, but the eukaryotic organism, the plants, they cannot absorb and utilize those free nitrogen. So some of the bacteria and some other prokaryote, cyanobacteria, they only can fix the nitrogen. So this rhizobium, they live in the root nodules of the leguminous plant and fix nitrogen. Fixing nitrogen means changing the atmospheric nitrogen, that is the gaseous nitrogen, into compounds of nitrogen which can be utilized by the plants. So this way it is helping a lot, and that's why by planting or cultivating the pulses in the field increase the fertility of the soil. So we should, or the farmer should cultivate alternately or frequently this leguminous plant in their field. Okay, this is that all about the root today. All right, in the next class, we will start the stem and leaf, their structure and modification function. This will be in the next class will be taken. When the class will be taken, that from the institute you will be informed. All right, for my class. Do you have anything to ask? Say here all about this notes, etc. I will give you later on. And here also, of course, I have written something. So this material will be available. This is here, I think, very small. It has been written. I can increase the font, then you can see them. All right. You will be given these notes for this chapter later on. Okay. Do you have any question, any query? Hello.
No, sir.
No.
No.
Okay, if you go through this topic, and if you have any problem in the next class, you can ask, or you can leave your queries with the institution. From there, I will get and clarify all this. Okay. Thank you. Uh,
Thank you, sir.
welcome.
So happy to tell you.